Quick question. Can you show your clients exactly which videos their ads ran against last month? Not audiences, not keywords, the actual videos. Our AI-powered video advertising preferred partner Channel Factory makes that possible. They go beyond standard platform targeting to give you channel by channel, video by video transparency your clients have never seen before. Agencies using their platform see 82% greater ROAS on YouTube and 34% fewer wasted impressions. A Tier 1 Google partner and exclusive ComScore partner. Learn more at channelfactory.com.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Meet an Indie Agency. I am Kyle O'Brien, Managing Editor of Indie Agency News. Let's meet an indie agency. Today, we are going to the great Pacific Northwest, to Vancouver, Canada, British Columbia, to Binary & Co. Talking with Simon Lewis. Simon, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for joining us today. Let's get right to it. What's your agency best known for?
Well, yeah, it's a good question. I think there's two answers to that question. There's what we're known for now, and then where we're heading in the future. Essentially,
Sure.
We always say, and when I started the agency back in 2019, I always said, you know, we're here to bring the marketing back into digital marketing. There's a lot of technical jargon. There's a lot of technical pieces of it, and we're here to bring in full funnel digital marketing that reaches people where they are and in the decision-making place that they're at. So, you know, we build full funnel digital advertising campaigns for our clients, you know, that really speak to them where they are. And then in terms of where we're heading, because that speaks to a much larger piece or maybe some more complicated areas of marketing, we are more focused in on what I would call high ticket, high consideration lead generation. At the moment, that focus looks very much in the education sphere, but we see that being very, very valuable in lots of other areas such as finance, real estate, so on and so forth. So yeah, I'd say we're very much known for that full funnel digital advertising development and high consideration lead gen.
Great. So kind of feeding off that, then what would you say the top three core strengths of Binary & Co is?
Well, obviously our ad ability is there. That's table stakes for us, ability to deliver high performance advertising. So in that performance piece, you know, if you're looking for performance marketing agency, we're there. But coupled with that is being able to translate people's brand messaging and customer journey through to an ad campaign. I always have this really I say cheesy analogy that we are not the pizza, we're the pizza delivery people. So if you're coming to us with an idea of who your customers are, what their journey is, and so on and so forth, and you want that translated into an ad campaign, and you need our help to make sure you're delivering people the right ads at the right time to really convince people, but also to engage with people. Really, that's where you coming to us and understanding that journey and how we can help you build that architecture really in your digital advertising.
Right. Okay. Let's talk a bit about the brands you work with. Or not necessarily the brands you work with, but why a brand should come to you. When they're choosing an agency, what makes them say, okay, Binary Co is going to be where I put my dollars?
I think if you're choosing an agency and you're looking for an agency that's going to work hand in glove with, you know, your marketing team, you know, that have a clear understanding of, like, we have a bunch of we know who our customers are, we want that translated through to an ad to decent ad buys. We don't want an agency that's just going to throw ads out there and hope they stick. You know, a more strategic approach to ad buying and delivering quality customers to you, as it were, then yeah, to come and talk to Binary & Co is really where you should be at. We will sit down with you, we'll go through your individual personas or ICPs, or however you want to describe it, going through the different stages of the buying process that you have, and really helping you translate that through to a effective ad campaign or digital advertising campaign.
That sounds great. Now you've worked with plenty of brands over the years. So what have you learned from those brands that's helped Binary & Co. grow as an agency?
I think if I'm honest with you, the key position that I think provides the most value for brands is really understanding their market and their business. I think we can all be very good at ads, and we can all be very good at placing ads and optimizing ads, but the next piece where you really get that sweet spot, that's where the magic happens, is having that intimate understanding of the client business and their market, and how they differentiate, and making sure that you are identifying those differentiating pieces and you're helping them differentiate within the market through their advertising, essentially. So I think that's really what I've learned in my time, is spending time to understand not just what advertising and stuff, but also understanding the business that they exist in. So yeah,
good. That. Let's get to the indie part of this, because obviously you're part of Indie Agency News, and we really appreciate you being a part of it. What makes it important for Binary & Co. to be indie?
I think ultimately it gives us great degree of flexibility, and also people working for us have that degree of flexibility. I always say we were remote before the pandemic happened, but I mean, we started in 2019, so only just before the pandemic happened.
Right before.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, it was a great time to start an agency. But that was always our intention, right? Our intention was also to have that flexibility, and I think that translates through not just to the people who work for us, but also to the clients. So being flexible with their needs. We don't have some massive structure to sit within. If you come to us and we can see that we can solve your problems, we definitely will, and we're there to be flexible to do that. So working across different platforms, working across and be that ad platforms, but also be that marketing automation platforms. We do a lot. We start to do a lot more on that marketing automation piece, with lead generation. We just incorporated a bunch of, we're working with SMS messaging for lead generation now, more and more. All comes out of that ability to flex and say, okay, this isn't working. Let's move here. Let's change that. So we do have that great degree of flexibility, and I think that's super important, not just for the clients, but also for the team at large. And then if you're a team member here, I would say, we do offer fully remote positions. We offer flexible positions. You don't have to come in and work full time for us if you have other things going on in your life,
right?
As people do. So that's also important. I think that being independent and being able to write that ourselves is super important, essentially.
Yeah, and you kind of stated what it means for your clients as well. I mean, are they when clients come to you, are they seeking out an indie agency, or are they just seeking who can do the best job, and you just kind of write?
I don't think they're necessarily saying like we want an independent agency. A lot of times, I would say a lot of times is that's what they want. They just haven't realized that it comes more from an independent agency than a large agency, right? So like for instance, we've had a couple of clients come through to us from larger agencies who are not independent. They've never said, "Oh, we want an indie agency," but they've said, we want someone that's going to talk to us, on our level and be able to meet us where we are, and these are the things we need, these are the problems we have, and I think that's way more. You're way more adaptable if you have that flexibility, and so that's what they're looking for. So in many ways, they're looking for an indie agency, but they don't necessarily know that's what they're looking for. Essentially, if that makes sense.
Right. They're looking for that personal, their personal connection. They're looking for, a small agile team, and that seems to be what you fit. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's great.
exactly. Then you're right. A small agile team, someone that's going to meet them where they are, and that is an indie agency. They just
They just didn't know that yet. Yeah. And you've helped them get there. Perfect.
Yeah.
You've talked a little bit about talent. You've got the flexibility. Why should somebody coming up in the agency, or maybe somebody making a move from the networks, why should they look to Binary & Co. as a place to work?
I think there is a collaborative nature. There is an entrepreneurial nature here, which I think is important. If you're looking to write your own ticket, or you need a little bit of, how can I put it, bandwidth for yourself, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Then coming here is important, and that can be bandwidth for yourself in terms of you maybe have something else going on in life, you don't want to work full time here, or just bandwidth the fact to do it the way you think is best. And what's interesting for me is I've always I start my own agency because I wanted to do it the way I felt was going to work, and be a good way to do it. And I want to engender that in the people that we bring on here. If there is a way they think is better, there isn't a hard process that you have to follow here. We will discuss it, and if we think it's going to work, sure. Yeah, we're always going to be open to new ideas. So if you have, I think, searching for the word while I was giving the answer, the word really is autonomy, really. That ability to have that autonomy within that role here, and make those decisions yourselves without it being overly process driven, I think is essentially a reason why you might seek this out. On top of the fact that it's flexible, it's remote, all those nice things, having that autonomy here is going to be
right.
Basically.
So how many people are in the agency? I mean, you said you have some part-timers, but so how many people kind of make up Binary?
Yeah, we're four.
Okay. Four at the moment, and then you use freelance talent, I would assume, too.
As well, a little bit. Although we try not to use too much freelance contractor talent. What we tend to have is retained contractors.
Gotcha.
So like you're retained for a long period of time.
Right. So you have that familiarity for the clients and for yourself.
Yeah, because there's a need for continuity. Having account managers and account directors swap in and out, it doesn't actually work for us. But if you're looking for somewhere that is freelance but without the hustle, then this would be a great fit for you, because we're going to offer you a very, very steady paycheck,
right?
But yeah, on an ongoing basis. If that makes sense.
No, that makes all the sense in the world. Yeah. So let's have a little fun here. We do have a block that we call Weirdos, Misfits, or Underdogs. And since many people in the indie world tend to fall into one of those, or maybe a combination of those, do you consider yourself Weirdos, Misfits, or Underdogs?
Do you know, I didn't see that question come up, and I'm like, now I'm weirdos, misfits, or underdogs. Yeah, probably a bit of all three, really, isn't it? So I think I definitely don't. I mean, I've worked for larger agency, medium-sized agency for a while, so fitting in that world is definitely. I know the challenges of it.
Yes,
that makes sense. Yeah, we're definitely underdogs. I mean, there are bigger agencies out there, and we're trying to crack into new markets. That there are some big guys out there that that we're not gonna. I mean, especially in the paid media landscape, right?
Right.
Because that's a competitive landscape, and you saw a lot of buying up of smaller agency to have these bigger books of business. So you are an underdog in the sense that you don't necessarily have that same market position. So for sure, but I think that's also valuable, because I always look at it like, if you look at the advertising landscape, a lot of the large agencies offer huge paid media platforms with massive, commitments and so on and so forth. But actually, you don't sometimes in that small to medium or even slightly larger enterprise area, we're seeing budgets that don't warrant that kind of
Absolutely.
service. So coming to we are an underdog, but there is a value in that underdog state. You can say, well, okay, we're not those guys. We don't have all these bells and whistles that they do, but you can still be extremely effective, especially with the money you have. This is a better way to spend it. We just had a client come on with exactly that problem. They may, on the face of it, seem like a larger retail brand, but in reality, their budget meant they had to have a greater degree of flexibility and ability to enter into that market. So although we would have been an underdog in a competitive pitch, we actually had more to offer because we're like, we can be more flexible with what you have, essentially.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think all the indies fit somewhere in there, but we always like to call it out because I think everybody has that underdog sensibility, but we're all a bit misfits. We're all a bit weird as we're in this world. All right. Now's the chance you get to call somebody out. You get to do a shout out for whoever you'd like, be it a CMO you'd like to meet, or maybe somebody you've worked with, or a marketer, anybody in the industry, or even outside of it that you'd like to call out or just say hi to.
Oh, do you know what? I was put onto you guys. I was put onto you guys by Lindsay Rutherford. She's not a CMO or marketer, so just shout out to her, say thanks for flagging you guys as a channel.
Absolutely.
Say hi to her. In terms of CMO marketers, I would say if you are a CMO, if you're a fractional CMO, or even some kind of marketer, brand marketer, check us out. Like I say, your ads delivered on time, to the right people at the right time. Come talk to us about our process, especially if you're in that education, finance, real estate industry. We're more than happy to chat.
That's great. And where can people find you?
Jump on our website, binaryandco.com.
Great.
And you can fill in a form there, or you can just come talk to me, Simon at binaryandco.com.
Fantastic. Well, Simon Lewis from Binary Code, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. Thank you so much for being a part of Indie Agency News. And thanks everybody for listening to Meet an Indie Agency. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.